All right, 8th graders, lesson 75, area of a trapezoid. Remember a few things. With a rectangle, we figure out the area, we multiply the length times the width. Parallelogram, we multiply the area equals the base times the height. So if we have three numbers here, 10 and an 8 and a 7, I don't multiply by the 8 but by the height. Well, a trapezoid is a little bit different. There's a couple. Well, we have a couple of problems. If I use the formula for a rectangle, I'll put that over top of the trapezoid. That's too big. And if I used just the inside, that area would be too small. So instead, what we do, we'll show you on the next page. This will be our trapezoid. And what mathematicians have done is they decided to take an average of these two numbers. So the area of the trapezoid will equal its average of the base, two of them, times the height. So to figure out the average, if you remember, we can take base 1 plus base room here. Erase this. One half of the first base and one half of the second base. We multiply those two times the height. So what's really going on here is from this end to this end, the average is somewhere in the middle, so probably about right here. So we draw a dotted line up, same thing over here, somewhere in the middle of these two ends. So what we're doing is we're taking this amount right here. And if we were to take this little triangle, it would fit right in here. If we take this little triangle, it would fit right in here. So therefore, we can confidently say the area inside this blue rectangle is exactly the same area that's inside this red trapezoid. We take the average of this short side and this long side, so base 1 and base 2 times the height. So let's do that with one here. Example 1, here we've got a trapezoid. Top is 8 feet and the bottom is 24 feet, and our height here is 12 feet. So if we use our formula, so base 1 is 8 and base 2 is 24, so I'll put those in parentheses. And then we'll have to multiply by the height, which is 12. So 8 times 24, or 8 plus 24, that equals 32 times 12, so we'll continue up here. A half of 32 is going to be 16 times 12. And we can figure out 16 times 12 is 192. And we add our label here, square feet. Now, that's a lot of math there. Pretty quickly, you are going to be able to do this all mentally. This whole section right here that we see here, you'll be doing that mentally. You'll look at the top number and the bottom number, and immediately you'll go, okay, that's 32. Okay, half of 32 is 16 times my height, 12. So very quickly you can get to this point. Then you might need to do a little pencil and paper work or use your calculator to figure out 16 times 12. All right. Let's take a look at example 2. Here it says the bases of a trapezoid are 12 and 18. So if we drew it, it would look like this. We get 12, we get 18, and the height is 8. So again, we have 1 half 12 plus 18 times 8. 12 and 18, they're going to be 30. Half times m times 8. Half of 30 is, so we'll continue over here, is 15 times 8. So we can solve that. And 15 times 8. Alright, and then 15 times 8 is 120, and our measurements are centimeters squared. Again, you'll see these two numbers here, and you're going to go, oh, 12 and 18, that's 30. Half of 30 is 15, so very quickly you'll get to 15 times 8. You'll do that on your calculator to find out that's 120, and then you'll put your measurements on it. So the trapezoids, doesn't matter. If you look at practice set A, you see a trapezoid that looks like this. All the trapezoids work the same, so just because they look a little bit different, don't be intimidated. You'll need, in this case, you'll need to do 16 plus 10. Take half of that times your height, which is 8. So you can solve for these. So just because they're a different shape doesn't mean that you can't do these types of problems. They work out exactly the same way. Alright, that's it. You can get started then on your practice set, 8th graders.